Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is Ziki, and I hope you're all doing very well wherever you are. We are back with another football discussion. However, I just want to apologize, guys, because initially we're supposed to be coming here, over the weekend. However, last weekend we were unable to do so. This is the reason we have decided to do it today. So pardon us on that one. But of course, we're going to be real quick as usual. We are going to be looking at some of, the issues that we covered in the past week, especially the ones that were announced by ZIFA. So we are looking at Zimbabwe's, World Cup qualification. We are also looking at some other issues that we covered. However, as usual, I don't go alone. I have my brother there, Mr. Alfred Chinodakufa, on the line. Hello.
Yeah, good day, Ziggy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Anyway, we have quite a number of things that we would love us for you to explain and we clarify or just make us to understand a bit, because some of these things they made announcements, but sometimes we don't really understand their significance in football. So now I think I want to first of all start by something that was of interest of many people that was recently announced, that Zimbabwe is going to be playing their World Cup qualifying match against Benin in South Africa at Moses Madiba Stadium. And they also spoke of the 50 rand. In terms of that on its own, what are the preparations that have been made so far, if any?
Yeah, good day, Ziggy. Yeah, in terms of preparations, at the moment, maybe these guys, they're doing it silently behind the scenes. But in terms of media and stuff, we haven't seen anything at the moment. Normally, these matches, players are called, I think, something like around a week before the match. So we just hoping a week before that match, we're going to see the players who are going to join the national team. But our major problem on that game is if this guy is going to have more local players, like for example, God knows Merwira, who normally plays as a right back. There's also Kama Billiard, in other local players, Walter Msona also. You see, these guys haven't been active since November last year. You understand? Then looking at a club like Benin, I've been going through, I've been checking their player profiles. The majority of the players, they play in France and other European countries.
That's very interesting.
So at the moment, they're active. They're highly active. You understand? So that one can come as a challenge.
As a challenge for us. Now, speaking of which, sorry, continue.
Yeah, in terms of match fitness.
Also, speaking of which, I know that currently Zimbabwe is sitting on 60 on the log, with only 2 points after those 2 draws, and just above them they've got Nigeria, who are on 3 points. Then above them there's Lesotho with 5 points. Then there is Rwanda, South Africa, and Benin on 7 points. Do we stand any chance under the looking at that log standing?
Yeah, the chance is there. If they can do in this match, these coming games in March, yeah, the chances will be okay. Because if we win in March, I think we'll be at 5 points. Then Benin will remain at 7 points. Understand? Then our next game, if we can manage, say a draw or a win, will be at 8 points. So literally we'll be in the running.
But it will be an assumption that the other teams on the other side, they're not also playing well, right?
It turns you need to do mathematics.
But
mathematics when it comes to these qualifying matches.
But also, I think you might also want to clarify to people like how many teams from Africa are going to be qualifying from each group. I think that is a question a lot of people have been asking.
On this one, sorry, I just need to to confirm, but looking at the log, it has to be 2 teams, but I'll clarify on this one later on in the show.
No problem.
But looking at our group, major threats, there is South Africa, there is Nigeria. Nigeria recently they brought in a new coach. Remember that coach was coaching Mali.
Yes.
You understand? He's not the coach of Nigeria. And recently we have seen him in France, in Europe, meeting players. I remember at some stage he was at Fulham with this guy, Iwobi. Then the other time he was in France, you understand, meeting those players. But we can't rule out Nigeria. There's Victor Osimhen, who is playing for Galatasaray in Turkey.
Yes.
And at the moment he's doing well, you understand. So you can't rule out Nigeria. But as for South Africa have been doing well of late because of this Sundowns thing.
Yes.
You understand? Yeah, but at some stage, this Sundowns thing was disturbed by this coach who was shown the X. Remember, some of these guys were not performing to their fullest at club level because Rulani had moved to Wydad Casablanca in Morocco. So it was more like, according to press statements, these guys were more like sabotaging Mangoba Miti, who became the head coach of Mamelodi Sundowns. Or this guy had a different philosophy from Rulani. Maybe that's why these guys were not playing regularly.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think the issue of the Zimbabwean Warriors from now going further, I think we're going to be talking more about it since we know that we are all interested to see how Zimbabwe is going to progress. We already have the AFCON, but now we're also looking at having the World Cup. I've been following also Michael Nis saying, well, the chances are there, they're going to do their best, but I think we're going to cover it extensively some other time. Now, again, we want also to look at something that was in the news recently. I'm going to just cover some of it. First of all, we want to talk about the appointment that were recently made by ZIFA.
These recent committees.
Committees, yes. What are the significance? Did you go through the?
It's good to have those committees because, ZIFA can't operate alone. They need these structures so that at least they can fit into ZIFA. You understand? Yeah, but looking at the committees, I'm forced to mention certain names.
Yes.
You understand? Yeah. In one of the committees, there is Ruveneko Parenyatwa. You understand?
Wow.
She's one of the committee members in those structures. But look, we also have got footballers. We have got better qualifications. Better qualifications than Ruveneko Parenyatwa. Look, we also have got former local clubs administrators who did well during their reign with those local clubs. But they were nowhere near that list of those who were selected. You understand? We also have the other guys like Mavis Gumbo, who was once the head of Zimbabwe women's team. So what worries me about Mobile Magwizi now, when he was campaigning, he also mentioned about corporate governance. Corporate governance, that it was more like his password. But looking at the tainted backgrounds of some of those who have been selected for those positions, at times my heart bleeds. Remember, of all footballers, we have seen only Dixon Toto, who has been appointed in one of the committees. But looking at the technical committee, we thought we would have at least 2-3 footballers. You understand? But you look, ZIFA is the Zimbabwe Football Association. Major stakeholders are footballers. You understand?
Yes.
But look how footballers have been snapped. And this guy is opted for the other guys with the tainted backgrounds in his setup.
But this is also.
Do you think the Zimbabwe football,
No, I just wanted the clarification on how did they come up with the names and the appointments. Did they make an announcement? Like sometimes when they have these positions, they want to create these positions. Did they make any such announcement?
Yeah, what worries me is that thing as well, Ziki. We thought those openings should be plated in the newspapers. You understand? And people would apply. Then people would be selected on merit. But if you check, some of those guys, they are not even sound academically. But because it's more like a connection power, because we didn't see anything in the newspapers. But we're surprised to see that list. You understand?
Wow. So already it's just into the the beginning of the tenure of the new ZIFA. They already have some issues that have already been poked out. I've seen that the list is quite a very long one with different kinds of people being put in those positions. But like you said, I was also looking at was this thing ever announced anywhere? Did they make any that there are these certain places, if anyone is interested should apply, then they're going to do the vetting, this kind of stuff. So that is what I wanted to understand. How did they come up with the names and filling in the positions?
Yeah, that one still remain a secret because we're all surprised. We're all surprised. Yeah. We're all surprised about that list.
Wow. Anyway, so as we continue to move forward, I mean, we understand that also it's important, to have these committees, like you said, ZIFA cannot work on their own. They need, people who are going to be out there doing other things and bringing in the information, incorporating. This brings into another issue again. We saw FAS visiting ZIFA, meeting ZIFA. What kind of issues did they really discuss with ZIFA? And what is their relationship?
What is their
relationship? What is the relationship between ZIFA and FAS?
Yeah, on that one, like from my own understanding, ZIFA can't work alone without FAS. And FAS can't work alone without ZIFA. So it was more like trying to get to know each other. So that whenever one of them encounters problems, they can meet each other and they can try to iron out problems. Because I think you understand the role of FAS standing for players. So ZIFA need to understand how FAS works. Remember, this Mobile Magwizi hasn't been in football. You understand? So he's new in football, and I think he doesn't even understand much about football politics. Yeah, but them meeting FAS, I think to me it was a great idea. Because they also need to understand how FAS works. Understand the FAS guy knows how ZIFA operates. But this one is a new ZIFA. So they may have a different strategy.
Exactly. Very interesting. I mean, also, I think we also saw the association for, I mean, it should be supporters as well, meeting again the ZIFA leadership, so I think they've been, opening up to having all these visits and all these collaborations, all those stakeholders in football coming in to, to work with them. And then also there's a particular issue which I saw where they were talking that, every club that is going to be playing in the Women Premier Soccer League, they are required to have a CEO. However, when I was following on the story, I realized that some people are saying, well, this is another financial burden that is going to be put on these teams, which they don't have. This is another aspect that I wanted you to give an insight into. How do you see it? Is it a good thing and everything?
Yeah, about that one, I think I've got an issue with these ZIFA guys. Because look, women's football hasn't been marketed well here in Zimbabwe. There is no proper development in women's football in terms of like the marketing which I previously said.
Yes.
The women's football is too behind. So instead of concentrating with the development, marketing of women's football, issues to do with sponsorship, they are now bringing in issues to do with the CEO. So looking at both, they didn't clarify for these teams which are supposed to bring in the CEO. Because you may have a male side, you understand, and a female team, and a women's team. So are we saying that CEO is going to double? Or we are going to have a separate CEO who stands for the women's team?
Wow, oh my goodness, I never really came out to thought about it. Thank you so much. You brought in another issue exactly like these teams. They have got two, the men and the women. Now, if you say they must have, so it means, is it one person who's going to cover both, or it's separate? But from what I have seen here, they said women, every women team participating in the Zimbabwe Women Premier Soccer League is required to have a CEO.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to have a chat with the CEO about that issue, but she just promised to send me something. Just promised to send me something. But like when I was talking to other people about it, because I just wanted to hear other people's views about that. What one of the guys told me is, they said it's not a war thought out in my view. They are being unnecessarily gender warrior actors rather than process drivers. The women's game has not created development programs. Teams require this level of administrative need. So like what I was saying, they're rushing to bring in a CEO, but in terms of marketing, in terms of development, there hasn't done much about women's team. We saw Miss Mukura. She has been playing.
Yes.
Until recently when she decided to move into administration. So I thought she could have started at a lower position than that position of being a vice president.
Vice president.
You know, administration is totally different from this playing thing. Totally different. Administration comes from etiquette. You understand the way how they dress, the way how they present themselves, the way in terms of their reports and stuff. So some of these ladies, they were rushed into this top position.
Perhaps.
But anyway,
sorry to cut you short. I was saying perhaps this is a time that they will need to go for orientation. You know, they'll have to go for etiquette and a lot of other expenses that will need to be incurred for them to be taught to to how to present themselves and everything. I mean, because now they're already there, so maybe it's just like learn on the job.
Yeah, that's very true. Because what I was thinking recently, I saw one of the pictures when they made the footballers union.
Yes,
you understand. Yeah, but just looking at the picture.
It's not
looking at the picture. There was Mobile, there was Kenindebele, there was Loveness Mkura, there was another lady, there was Ivoni Manwa, there was Desmond Maringwa, there was Wonder Story. Looking at the picture, that picture can tell you one of Mobile Magwi's role is to ensure they engage Zimbabwe Institute of Diplomas, where they do training in diplomas, protocol, etiquette, deportment, so that at least they are at the same level. Because it starts with dressing, it starts with how they present themselves.
Image is very important. Image is very important, and etiquette is everything in administration anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very, very interesting observation. I mean, this is why we need people like you, because you pay attention to just those things that maybe the majority of the people just have overlooked. If you had asked me or someone else looking at that picture, we just say, well, there are people just posing for the picture. However, you were able to make us understand some of the things that, that is the reason why we need you more.
That picture, when you see it, I will send you so that at least you see it.
So that I understand.
Yeah, if you see it,
this is my point. I saw the photos.
Long story.
This is my point. I saw the photos, but I never, thought deeper like saw it in a perspective that's the way you did. So this is why I'm saying we need you more, because you give us, you make us see what we cannot see, But anyway, speaking of which, again, we move on from one issue to another. Again, this is also another directive by ZIFA, where the singing of the national anthem is going to be compulsory from different soccer levels, and it should be done every match.
Yeah, that one is a bit of a challenge again. What I thought is, when they were deliberating on this thing, I thought they would come up with a phased approach in phases, you understand? Because the national anthem, from tradition, it could happen in national team matches, in continental competitions. But I thought these guys, they would introduce, even in cup finals, the national anthem could be sang, you understand? But I checked on the internet, in countries like, I think it's Korea, countries in Russia.
Yes.
Where the government has got too much grip on people.
Yes.
You understand? Yes. This is done in most matches. But for a country like Zimbabwe, I think on that one, that was a wrong, from my perception, that was a very wrong decision. You can't have area zones. Like there's a place called Zimbabwe Grounds in Highfield, where you would expect those area zones to have a national anthem. For a national anthem to happen, you need to have a PA system. You understand? So we're going to buy that PA system for all these clubs.
Maybe they will. To, because you cannot just have national anthem in a very, very open space, and someone will start, you know that.
Yeah, I understand. Because, like I just gave an example of an area zone, Zimbabwe Grounds in Highfield, or let's say number 7 grounds in Mbare, and you expect people to do a national anthem. No, it's a bit of a challenge, in those areas. Or even in Faro Stadium, say there's Dynamos, then there's Dynamos is playing against Islanders, then you expect people to sing a national anthem. It's terrible. But if they want to bring it, it's fine. We want new things, you understand?
Yes.
But they need to do it in phases, you understand? They need to do it in phases. Because these guys are there for the next 5 years, right?
Yes.
So they need to apply some of these things in a phased approach. Seeing how the response is like, then they try to bring in more ideas than like this, which is more like a military or a political whatever.
I think from my observation is that it's like they've come in. How ZIFA has always been on the spotlight in the way that they run things, how they do things. So I think as a new committee that is coming in a time when everyone is very much, do you know that there was a time that very few people paid much attention to ZIFA doings and ZIFA operations? Very few people. However, now we are in an era or in a time when everyone is paying attention to what they are doing, who are they talking to. Now we are looking at photos and everything. So you can see that people are now conscious that there is a football governing body in a country who are doing this. So I've also seen that they've been everywhere since they came into office. They've been, we've seen them being everywhere. If I say everywhere, I'm talking about everywhere.
Yeah, that's very true.
And also, this is why we're seeing that most of these things they've been introducing more and more things. I'm sure that we're going to be seeing more and more, things as we go deep into working with them. Now, another issue again, I saw them, saying they're going to also to be having refresher courses before the start of the season.
Yeah, that one, it has to be mandatory. Every start season, and also I think even midway. But with the type of performance from last season, I would suggest if it's done in a quarter, every quarter they do some refresher. Because like last season, referees were on the spotlight due to this bad referee. So I think if they can do it on a quarter basis, I think it will be fine for this coming season. Then if we see improvement, it has to be what we call biannually for every 6 months.
Okay.
You understand? One of the trainers of the referees is a local guy, is a former referee, Felix Tangoarima. So at least if you've got ours who is there, I think you will assist us. But even last season, he also did these trainings, but we didn't see any improvement from these referees. You understand? You remember involvement of money, Islanders walking away, issues to do with the Division 1, poor refereeing. There was a lot of chaos. So I think this committee needs to pay more attention to referees. So that's another area.
Yeah, like I said, there are plenty of areas that have been covered, that they've spoken about, but which already we're having issues in the Zimbabwean football. And then there's also another issue of I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure how far they have been able to cover that gap, where they were talking about Dynamos having issues with the salaries of their teams refusing to go into play, and them having a match that is going to be coming up. It's also very interesting to see how that was resolved or is going to be resolved, because I think this is an issue that is always recurring in some of these teams, the issue of sorry about that. I need to okay. Sorry, you were cut. So I was asking you about the issue of salaries at Dynamos, where we came across some news that there was some refusing to train because they have not been given their monies. And I think this is a recurring issue that we've been seeing happening in some of these clubs, the issue of payments of players.
Yeah. If you look at the Dynamos scenario, it has been a perennial thing. You understand? Boardroom issues to do with salaries. And recently, this Namibian guy is taking Dynamos to FIFA over non-payment of the signing on fees. You understand? So I think for Dynamos, I think they need a new sponsor. They also need to restructure their thing. This Bernard Marriott thing has destroyed that Dynamos. And it's no longer Dynamos we used to see. You understand? Some leadership crisis issues.
Yeah. Anyway, like you said, we're still looking at some of these small topics that that arose during the past week, and also we also know that for so far now we have 2 clubs, right, that have already been banned by FIFA in terms of failing to pay. In terms of failing to pay people who are they're supposed to be paying. I'm talking of Yada, they did, and then now Highlanders, even though their debt has been cleared, but they still have to face their, is it a 3-window ban?
Yeah, but I think for Highlanders they may review it now that the payment is done. Yeah, but for Yada, I think it's also a challenge because something like about 81,000.
That's a lot.
Understand? Yeah, that's a lot. But the Islanders one, it was 27,000. Yeah. So these are some of the problems here in Zimbabwe. But my biggest worry is Ziki. You see the owners of this club, you see them vying for top ZIFA positions.
Yes.
But they are failing to pay their coaches. They are failing to pay their players. So how are they going to run the association if they fail to pay their players? You understand? That's why my problem is.
Wow.
You see, they are always in the newspapers. They are always pushing for the ZIFA presidents, but they've got issues, simple issues. You understand? So at the end of the day, you tend to think people are vying for the ZIFA position just because of the FIFA money, those grants for development.
Yes.
Moving around Africa, attending FIFA, whatever, FIFA courses, FIFA soccer presentations and stuff. Because I don't think these guys have got football at heart. They just want money. You understand?
And also, I think when we're talking about the issues of finances and money for players, especially, I think there's a danger in the sense that imagine if one is a player and they've not been paid for their money, maybe 1 month salary, 2 month salary, they've got families to feed, and then there comes another team. They say, well. We are going to be playing against you, just to take this 200 US dollar, just put it in your pocket, do something for us. We have seen that is the reason why if in China a lot of people have been banned towards the end of 2024. They banned more than, I can say, let me not say the number because I've forgotten, but there were many for life. Some of them were banned for life, including executives. It's because sometimes they will bring in the money. Now imagine in a situation where we have players who are already disgruntled and not having money. Isn't that also a danger in terms of how we are going to be seeing, these money issues? Kunonzi kutengesa game.
Yeah, that one you can't rule it out. You can't rule it out because look, this is January. Some of these players, they've got kids who are going to school. They also need to sustain their families. You understand? They also need to pay rent. But all of a sudden, there is no salary.
Yeah.
But some people are still holding on as Dynamos owners. You understand? So at times my heart bleeds, Ziki. When people, they say footballers don't think, footballers in the community, they are given so many names, you understand? They used to play war, they squandered the money and stuff. But look, they are not being paid. Like the Dynamo scenario. You understand? No payment. And this guy is always in the newspaper. So people in the community think maybe he's squandering the money. Where is the money coming from?
Where is the money coming
That's
from?
That's the problem here in Zimbabwe. And we have got well-trained reporters who come back to bite these players, but they're fully aware that these players are not being paid. You understand?
Now, speaking of Dynamos as well, I think over the past days we've seen that there have been, I'm not quite sure how far true it is, the old players, who is this one? Is it Jaura or something like that?
Old players.
Playing with the Dynamos, and I was checking that, saying maybe they're looking at being reassigned. Is it true?
It's not Jaur. It was Devon Chafa. It was Devon Chafa who was training with Dynamos.
But I think, but from what I came across, I think they mentioned something to do with the Patson Jaure and is it Mushure, Ocean Mushure, something like that.
Yeah, Ocean. But look at these guys. Ocean, I think, is somewhere around 30 to 39 years. Do you think they're going to add value to Dynamos?
I don't know. I thought maybe they'll just at the stadium having fun, meeting the players in their old teams, but not necessarily for them to be able to be incorporated back into the team.
But you never know. Like Dynamos right now is in a, say, for example, I think they're in a crisis. You understand? But that has been the tradition in Dynamos because every year during the start of the season there are issues.
There's always an issue.
We're just hoping when they play Simba in this championship trophy, we'll see how do they look like in terms of performance. You understand? There is a rumor which is doing rounds that that guy Chawonza, who was fired then by Bernard Marriott, is being targeted by the company which wants to sponsor Dynamos. So they are using, there's some issues which are doing rounds at the moment.
I think we'll keep an eye on that one to see how everything's going to be. And then we also spoke of a game that is going to be played is Dynamos versus what? Is versus Zimbabwe or what?
Yeah, there's Dynamos versus Zimbabwe because normally this is more like a season opener. The team that won the trophy last season, the league, it was Simba. Then Dynamos won the Chiboko.
Yes.
There's a season opener between Dynamos and Simba. I think from there that's when we are going to gauge where they are. terms of performance and stuff.
Performances, yeah, especially after the mass movement of players especially from Zimbabwe, and how they're trying to rebuild the team and everything. It will be very, very interesting to see how they're going to be able to move past that and see how they have prepared for the season as well. But also I think we also saw plenty of other things coming up, especially for Dynamos. We saw them announcing that Jalai is now the new captain for 2025 season, and yeah.
Emmanuel Jalai.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's always plenty of other things to talk about. And currently our ladies are in is it Luanda? They're in Luanda in Angola for the
The women's team is currently in Angola for that tournament. And we saw quite a number of new faces.
We saw quite
we are just hoping they are going to do well. Well, some they came as far as Israel.
That lady.
Remember that lady. So we're just hoping they are going to add value to the team.
Hopefully, if they advance, and I think we have seen how they've been, morale being boosted, being given money, being pampered, those little things,
Yeah, because women's football, it hasn't been taken seriously of late. But
yes.
we're just hoping, like the way they were teaching these ladies, we're just hoping they'll do in Luanda. Any university in South Africa against Angola, they also do so that at least they can proceed. Because remember, we've been to Brazil. We played Brazil sometime in the Olympic.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
When we used to have Panom Laos as the coach. So they've been there. I think they understand how it takes to be there. Because some of the players, they are still there.
Yeah, plenty of talking points there. Very much plenty of talking about. But anyway, so what we were going to do is I have to leave you to go. It's midweek. You need to relax and also prepare for some other things. But I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much, because we were so much behind. And I am so behind the scene. We're going to discuss. Maybe we're going to go back to our weekend thing, or we continue with the Wednesday thing, whichever is convenient for you. You will communicate with me. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much for giving an insight in some of these issues that are coming out in the Zimbabwean football arena.
Yeah, thank you, Ziki. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So that was Mr. Alfred Chinodakufa, who is our sports analyst, always coming up here, giving us an insight, into what is happening in the Zimbabwean football, and explaining to us some of the things that we might not really understand what is happening. He is there to give us. So we're going to be back again with another round of our show. That is the upcoming weekend, or if ever we're going to be coming on a Wednesday, we will let you know that we're going to be back. But for now, I just want to say thank you so much. We've covered a lot of issues that a lot of people have been wanting to hear about. But if you've got any other topic that you feel like we have to talk about, or we need to discuss, or if you want us to bring in some other people that we can talk to and discuss with and interview, that would be very, very interesting. Or if you are someone who understands football, especially Zimbabwean football, or even not necessarily Zimbabwean football, but you want to be part of our live discussions, feel free to connect with me or via Facebook, my page you already know, the sports media, Ziki Sports Media, or you can email me. My email address is always available for anyone who requires it, so that we can communicate and you can join in for the football. So this is Ziki, and until I come back again with more, please continue supporting your girl. However, you already know that my team is now on top of La Liga. I mean, you know that I love La Liga so much, right? But until then, goodbye.